Hello everybody, so I thought I'd, during lockdown, as we've all got slightly more time in our hands, I thought I'd do a old school video of just going over a random piece of Predator footage that I've not seen before and seeing what we figure out. So this is Hansen versus Predator stuff. The guy on your screen there, Jesse Velez. So we'll just have a quick look. 5 years suspended after 2 years in prison. So 2 years in prison, in other words. 10 years probation and only 10 years as a registered sex offender. So suffice to say, he paid for his crimes. The footage that we've got is from Hansen versus Predator, which I believe is uncut. So that's pretty cool. So, without further ado, let's crack on.
So where'd you want to go? Want a water or something?
No, this is the first time I met somebody.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's kind of nervous.
Nervous? I know, I am too. You want a water? Anything?
Yeah.
Didn't he just say that? So this is a different. There's not that many scenarios in either To Catch a Predator or Hansen versus Predator where it's a male on male scenario. You know, like a gay relationship. I must admit, from a personal perspective, I tend to look upon it a bit differently. Not from any kind of moral judgment. It just doesn't have the same. I mean, it's pretty much. Maybe it's because it's slightly out of the norm for what I have looked at in the past with regard to, the more popular scenarios with Lorne and Dustin and all those kind of people. It was generally older men preying on younger girls, which adds a different dynamic to the situation. I believe it's probably because younger girls are generally seen as more vulnerable. Not that young boys aren't, of course, but I just think that when it's male on male, there's a slight change in the situation. So let's crack on.
Where are your parents at?
They went away.
He doesn't look, the decoy here doesn't look young, underage at all. It looks like 18 to me.
Sorry? Yeah.
Generally, the girls that they pick, Luke, could very easily pass for being underage. This kid here, he doesn't look that young.
Here you go.
So how old are you?
13.
Like, if you were to walk past him, you wouldn't at all think that he was underage. He's got like a confused look on his face there, this guy. I wonder if that's got anything to do with it.
You're 13.
That's what they all say, That's what they all say. So, where are we going?
I don't know, wherever you want to go to eat.
It's up to you.
You hungry?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
Doesn't matter to me.
I mean, this does change things a little bit with regard to the inevitable confrontation with Hansen. Is that he's saying, let's go out, let's go for something to eat. Gives him a bit more leeway, one would suggest, with regard to his whatever his intention is. Because if you're someone who's not going to admit to it, like, this is like a first viewing for me, which is always fun. I know some people say you're better off watching it first and then going over it, but anyway, if anybody's got any comment on that for future videos, do you think it's best if I do that or just go over it like this? But anyway, with regard to, like I said, him having a better angle to sort of defend himself from, if he's going in there and saying, right, let's go out for something to eat, it gives him a bit of clout, shall we say, with regard to expressing some kind of innocence if he would choose to do that.
I'm not really hungry, I just ate.
No.
No.
So you want to stay here?
No, not really.
You don't want to stay here? What do you want to...
Is he getting suspicious? He's looking round, doesn't look comfortable. He's like, look towards the doorway. Is it that he doesn't look like the decoys in the photographs? He thinks he's older. Something's not right, is it?
What do you after? What do you get? Hang out?
You know.
Netflix? Chill?
Huh?
Netflix
Yeah,
and chill?
I was watching Netflix when I was texting you.
Yeah, what show?
I watched like TV shows like House of Cards, stuff like that.
I haven't seen that. Is it pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Just as a kind of to digress, I loved House of Cards before Kevin Spacey left, and how ironic that Kevin Spacey ended up leaving the show because of alleged sexual abuse, and there we go. It gets mentioned in this scenario.
Yeah, we can Netflix and chill.
This is gonna be a weird question, but you have your ID on you.
I don't have an ID on me.
No.
Sorry, I'm only 13. My mom keeps that in her purse.
Who lives here?
Who lives here? Oh, I live here. Me, my mommy, and my daddy.
It's a nice house.
Yeah, they work hard.
Brain's working overdrive, isn't it? He knows something's not right. I don't think he can put his finger quite on what it is.
It looks like that.
Yeah. This, you want to come look at this? This right here. This is my dad made this.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Pretty cool. You want to come look at it?
I'll take a tour. That's nice in there.
Hey Jose, how are you?
So was he about to walk out then? Because let's just go back a bit. Because Chris came out almost immediately. He wants him to walk over there. It's like, oh, come and have a look at this table. It's like, well, that's hardly. It's a fucking table. Do you know what I mean? Suspicions are coming out already, aren't they?
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Pretty cool. You want to come look at it?
I'll take a tour. That's nice in there.
It says inaudible anyway, so it's difficult to like. You see, he looks in a little bit of a hurry there, Chris. So I think he suspects that something's going wrong. He's trying to get him towards the doorway, and he's like making off.
Hey Jose, how are you? Okay, take a seat right over there, please.
Yeah.
I think that in most of these scenarios, the people that just do exactly what Chris says, I think initially they think he's law enforcement or something. The way he's dressed, he comes across very suave. You know, he's got like a authoritative presence about him a little bit. So it's like the fight or flight thing, isn't it? Some of them just, whether it's that they've got weak will or that, you know, it's many different reasons. But obviously straight away he's going over there, you know, no hesitation, no thoughts of, well, maybe thoughts, but certainly no, he's not making off straight away, is he?
What's happening?
Nothing.
Yeah. What was your plan today?
Nothing, actually. Just to hang out.
Just to hang out
Yeah.
with a 13.
Which, you know, like I said, he's got not reason. We know what he was there for. There's no reason to turn up otherwise. I haven't got access to the chat log, but hopefully that'll come out in this chat.
Oh boy. Who you sent a picture of your private parts?
Ah, right, okay. So that's pretty much all we need to know. Because potentially he could have had a chat that... we know it's not the case, but in theory he could have had a chat where, you know, there was minimal, if any, sexual talk. But he sent a picture of his knackers. That's all you need to know, isn't it?
No, I
There's no getting around that. There's no grey area. There's no, oh, well, I just thought he wanted to see a picture of it.
Yeah, I did?
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh, I did I? That's like me going into work and some randomly girl coming up to me and saying, Andy, you sent me a picture of your dick last night, did I? Oh shit, I'm really sorry about that, sweetheart. Do you forgive me? Oh yeah, no problem, not a problem at all.
I didn't mean to do that.
Ooh, was right.
Yeah, I didn't get away with it last time I did that, unfortunately, but that'll be a video for another time.
Yeah. I was
You've been chatting with him on and off for weeks.
Yeah, I used to chat with random people on and off.
You see Luke at his, like, you can see the intensity in the eyes already, and the sort of, his whole demeanour has changed. Before he's kind of laxed, he was kind of like really uneasy, he was in an uncomfortable spot. He's obviously gone there knowing he's in potentially a lot of trouble. Now he's kind of in survival mode, isn't he? He's like, I'm in a bad spot, I need to fight my way out of it, a little bit like the T-Rex would.
Hang out with them. No, nothing's really...
You know, I didn't mean a T-Rex would be in a fucking house to catch a predator. You get what I mean?
Sexual.
I just think it's kind of, it's got the T-shirt with the big predator on it. He's a predator. and I'll just shut up.
To be honest,
Nothing sexual.
no.
What's this then?
Let me see.
You can just see the fear emanating from him, can't you?
Oh my god, I did not know I even sent that. Ugh. Yeah, I did not know that.
Ooh, 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 ooh. It's like it's probably not the wisest thing to say in that situation, but it's such an unusual position to be in, one would imagine.
Who was right?
Yeah, usually when I send a picture, like I have a bunch of pictures of me.
Right.
So I must have hit that, but I didn't even know why.
So this was just one big mistake.
Yeah,
So he's writing it off as a mistake, sending his dick right to someone. That's interesting.
pretty much, yeah.
So you had a picture of yourself out and about town,
Because usually I
driving a
meet
car.
Yeah, like
And
usually I
then the
meet.
penis pic. Oh, by mistake, I hit the penis pic.
Yeah, because I didn't even know because I would even say like something afterwards, but I didn't even know I really sent that, to be honest. Usually I meet people, I hang out with them, nothing really sexual. You know, so I don't even put like sexual things on my, like I don't do none of that stuff. Like I don't say, oh yeah, let's meet up and have sex. I don't really do that. I like to meet different people, hang out with them.
It's interesting to see what ridiculous tales people spin, isn't it? You know, the crazy shit some of the Predators have come up with. Obviously, the highlight being John Pierre Wary and the crazy Scott Pedersen tale.
What is
Was it
Brian-
John or Scott? Was it John Pedersen? And then there was a Scott Pedersen. He like changed his name halfway through the conversation, didn't he?
For?
Honestly, I know it's for hookups. I really do know that, but I'm not all for that. I don't just meet people randomly and just start having sex with random people. That's not what I do. I know it sounds weird coming from myself, but it's not like that.
But isn't that what Grindr is for?
No, to me it's not. It depends on people use it for their aspects. Like I don't use it for any sexual like orientations or activities like that. I just meet people, eat movies, we'll go to the restaurant, hang out, eat. I just like to have company with me. I'm like kind of a, how you say, I never really had friends when I was younger.
Right.
So I like to hang out with people, you know, you can get to know them a little bit. You know, that's about it. You know, I meet people from either 13, 17, 18, 30, even to their 40.
He's a prolific little chatter there, this guy, isn't he? He's really sort of going to town to try and explain, you know, to try and get out of this sticky spot that he's actually in.
It's just to meet people and talk to them.
And how old are you?
It would be easier to believe he hadn't sent a picture of his cock, wouldn't it?
I'm actually 27.
27.
Yes.
And what do you do for a living?
Me, I'm actually a manager for a restaurant.
Which restaurant?
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey. Nice.
Yes.
And it looks like he eats the profits too.
How's that going?
It's going good. I actually just started there about a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Yes.
Fucking hell, that's some eating in 2 weeks.
But you see how this looks for you to come over and visit
I know,
that 13-year-old boy after
Yeah,
you
I-
sent him a picture of your
Yeah, I know. Like,
penis.
I didn't realize I sent that, and even when I came here,
How did you not realize it?
No, I understand where you're coming from, but even when I came here, even when I parked there, I was just like, oh, this is. Even when I sat there, I was like, yeah, this is the first time I did, like met someone at someone's house. I felt kind of nervous when coming to a house. Could you just say, let's meet at a public place so it's more safer for me? That way, just in case I don't know the other person. But that's why even when I came, I actually turned and parked at that park for a while. I was just sitting. I was like, I should not be going to this person's house. So
But you did it.
Yeah, I did.
Why did you do it then?
It's the first time for me. I never went to someone's house
You know,
before.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah,
It's my first time.
I'm sure. I'm
And
sure you
I
have.
doubt that all the people who tell me it's their first time are telling the truth.
This is honest to death.
So you're the first honest guy I've ever found.
This is the first
Coming to
time.
visit a
Well, no,
13-year-old.
I wouldn't even bother asking that question. Do you know what I mean? It's like as if they're going to go, oh yeah, this is the 10th time I've met an underage person.
well, no, this is the first time I met.
There's nothing that unless they've got hard evidence, there's nothing they can do to disprove what he's saying. So it's just kind of a pointless discussion.
A young person that age. It's the first time ever in history.
But what
ever.
could you possibly have in common at 27 with a 13-year-old stranger?
That's something I'll find out when we sit down and chat. To be honest, I mean, there's nothing sexual was gonna happen anyway from the get go.
After you sent him a penis
And
picture.
I didn't realize I sent.
Oh come on, man. He's got. It's a hard one to sell, this, isn't it? He's turned up. He's sent a picture of his cock, but he's part of his defence is that it was sent by accident. I don't suppose there's anything else he could do in this scenario. He's trying to have some kind of a logical conversation. If you're having a logical conversation where he's obviously, this guy has a certain degree of intelligence about him, he holds down an half decent job, you know, he speaks quite well, so you know he's not like, I don't know, a Dustin type character turning up. He's just a mess, and I didn't mean that with regard to his disability. I meant as just a overall character. Well, this is probably worse than him. You know, Lorne's up there. But his argument would not hold anyway. It doesn't hold weight anyway. But it'd be even worse if it would be even worse if he's trying to sell what he's selling and say, yeah, I did send him a picture of my dick. He's trying to, so he has to write that off, doesn't he? Is it just being an accident? It's the only way he can continue this kind of conversation from the angle that he's taking it from, you know.
You can look at all my conversations. I did not realize I sent that kind of picture. I did not realize
So today
that.
you just...
So today,
Which is ridiculous, isn't it? Because, I mean, God. Let's just say, in theory, it was sent by accident. Let's just go with that argument for a second, that kind of perspective. You'd know it was sent by accident. You just happened to have a picture of your cock on your phone, and it was you selected the wrong photograph. Immediately, you'd go out. Even as I'm saying it, it's totally implausible, isn't it?
One big misunderstanding.
Well, like for example, say I was gonna watch a movie with just like an ordinary conversation, like homo, like friendly type thing. It wasn't gonna be anything sexual. Even when we were chatting, I never said, "Oh, hey, do you want to have sex?" Because that's not the kind of person I am. I don't want to throw myself out there like that. That's not what I am.
But if you were his parents, are you going to be comfortable?
I have a 16-year-old friend. I do. Yes, I do.
That's a pretty big age gap
It is. But
at this stage.
But you know what? But there's nothing wrong with that because to be honest, I have friends that are 16 to 30. We all hang out. There's no drugs involved. Obviously, I don't do any drugs. But we all just conversate. There's so many similarities from all different people that doesn't matter about age to me. So some people look at it as more like a pedophile thing or something like that. But that's not what I am. I don't go around looking for 10-year-olds, 13-year-olds. No, that's not who I am. That's not exactly
But you see how this looks.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. That's why I didn't want to walk to that door.
A 27-year-old sends a penis
Yeah.
picture to
I
a
know.
13-year-old.
Yeah.
And then comes over to just hang out.
Yeah, I know how it looks. And I wasn't even gonna walk. Something told me don't walk through that door. I swear something told me do not.
Well,
walk
why'd
through
you
that
do
door.
it then?
I don't know. I wasn't gonna walk through that door. I really wasn't. But I don't know. Even when I saw him, I looked down. I was like, this doesn't fit. I hang out with people outside of their home because I wouldn't want myself to be in someone's home that I really don't know. I never meet someone at their home. That's why.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing. It's just a simple case of someone trying to get themselves out of a hole that is, the peak is insurmountable. Well, that's not really. You know what I'm getting at. It's just the impossible situation, isn't it? It's like trying to cross the fucking channel on a sinking dinghy.
Weird.
So this is just one big misunderstanding.
This is the
and
biggest.
the first time you've
this is
ever
the
had
biggest
such
I ever
a
walked into someone's
misunderstanding.
house. To be honest, because at my house, I don't like people come to my house. Well, I can't because I have a big patio outside, and I have my neighbors that come outside with me, so I would feel safe because I'm not by myself with that person. So at least people see me with this person. But me coming here, like I parked at that park right there.
Right.
I sat there for like 5 minutes, and I parked at the park because I was gonna make a U-turn and just go because I don't like too many people's houses. Because there was one time where one of our friends was to his friend's house and it didn't really go as they were gonna say. When he walked in, there was actually an ambush. It was two older guys and a woman. They beat him up. It was like.
It's interesting. I kind of like these exchanges because, from a psychological perspective, humans have an amazing ability to think up ridiculous tales on the spot. It's just narrative building, isn't it? But it's fueled by your survival instincts because he doesn't know exactly what's going on. One would assume he knows that he's in trouble. He knows potentially that Chris is law enforcement. So he's building a narrative that's fueled by fear, and it's taking him to silly places because he's not got a leg to stand on, has he? What can you do? If he hadn't sent the dick pic, maybe he could find a way around it, but that really is the nail in the coffin, isn't it?
I guess people that they're looking for
It's a setup.
Yeah, well, not like this. Like I guess they want to just beat somebody up. So that's why I don't come to people's houses. I'd rather meet at a sandwich shop, at a Starbucks, just so we can sit down, conversate. It's nothing really sexual or ordinary.
Do you live by yourself?
No, I live with my 3 dogs.
Three dogs.
Yeah.
If I had 3 dogs and someone said, do you live by yourself? I'd say yes. Everybody loves dogs, but they're not people.
Yeah.
Here in Fairfield?
Yeah, actually, right up the road by Taco Loco.
By Taco?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we've been running an investigation
Okay.
called Hansen versus Predator.
Okay.
And I'm Chris Hansen.
Okay.
And you've walked into it.
Okay.
So if there's anything else you want people to know,
I'll just see little kids. That's not who I am.
He's in shock, isn't he? He's like his words, and he's a bit getting a few lawnisms, and it's what can he do in this situation? Let's see what his brain musters up, because he's in shock, isn't he? I mean, what like the stresses, the psychological stresses that it must impose on you to be in that situation, pretty huge.
That's not who I am. Honestly, that's not who I am. That's not me. Can you take the
I never meant to do it.
cameras off me, please?
I can't at this point.
Can I leave?
You can leave right out there.
Okay. This is very awkward and very embarrassing for me. I'll talk to you in private if you like.
I can't turn the cameras on.
Okay. I mean, I'll answer any questions for you, to be honest, because I'm not.
Well, you have.
This is not what it seems to be. This is not.
What the fuck is he doing with his hand? It's like, come on, man. I don't suppose he knows where that hidden camera is, does he? So he's still. But if you're gonna be there, just put your hand down,
What it
man.
was going to be. So I want everyone to know that's actually seeing right now. It's not what it was. I'll have to hang out with somebody. Nothing sexual to that nature. It may seem to other people it was, but to me it's not. Because if it was to that standard, I would have actually texted the guy, "Hey, let's meet."
I suppose I get the tactic. He's in this situation. He knows that the evidence speaks for itself, so he's just trying to sort of explain it away. It's some kind of last-ditch attempts to salvage some kind of credibility, and that the odd, it's like, I can't even imagine. Can you imagine having to adjust to this being like recorded nationally, and then having to wonder how people will react to you? I mean, it's just too much. It would be too much to bear. I'm surprised that I don't know how they cope, these guys.
And let's do this, let's do that. But it wasn't. I'm very, cordial with what I say. I'm very blunt. So nothing was sexual nothing sexual to that nature. But to be honest, I can't learn my lesson right now. I'm not to my house.
And what?
Just put your hand down, dude. It's doing me head in.
I'm not walking to no one's house ever again. This is the first and last time we're doing that.
What's the lesson here, Jose?
The lesson here is don't walk into no one's house that you don't know who actually even lives there. That's
Okay, that's probably a good idea, because that's fucking, you're committing offences there, right? You're just walking into random people's houses. That's not really the lesson, dude, is it?
to be honest. Don't do the same thing to other people that you wouldn't want done to you.
Okay, that's another bizarre argument.
Would
But
you
you
want
did
someone?
it, though.
Yeah, because I walked someone's house, but I never allowed people to come to my house. That's the thing. I never allowed. It's okay, because I'm not even ashamed to do this. Don't let people walk into your house. Why would you go to theirs? Because you don't know what to expect to that nature. That's why when I came here.
So he's just kind of, the angle he's taking is just like, oh, I've just walked into someone's house, that's all I've done, but you shouldn't do it. That's the error I've made. There was no sexual intent.
I was bored today. I didn't know what to do, so I figured hang out with some people.
How about watching football?
And he's kind of like, during the questioning, he's remained calm. You know what I mean? He's not flapped that much. He's not lost his cool totally. He's not buckled under pressure and fell on the floor and sweated profusely like fucking, what's he called? What was the guy called? The guy named Kevin. You know what I mean?
Person, believe it or not, don't like sports.
Eugene, was it Eugene?
I'm watching Netflix.
I was. It was just, today was just a day that just, let's just go hang out tonight real quick. Let's hang out, nothing sexual though. I'm not looking for that. I'm not.
But again, isn't that what Grindr was set up for?
It depends what people utilize Grindr for. Some people use it for dating, for hang out, for chill. Other people use it for a sexual preference. That's not what I'm looking for. Even on my profile, it just said, hey, let's chat. I'm not looking for, anything to that nature. It just says, let's chat. That's it.
Okay. Fair enough, Jose. I appreciate
So, it's fair enough. So, everyone out there, that's not who I am. That's not who I am.
Okay.
So,
I appreciate that.
You're welcome, Chris.
Jose,
Thank you for this actual experience, actually, because It's pretty interesting, actually.
What? That's kind of let's just get that again.
Everyone out there, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. So
I appreciate that.
I don't want to be that fucking person.
Thank you for this actual experience, actually, because it's pretty interesting, actually.
That's kind of it's a good tactic, that, isn't it? If it was ever, I mean, he's fucked, right? If he knew how fucked he was, he wouldn't be wasting his time with all these. But it's a good tactic to adopt. If it was like, let's just say it was a court scenario and it was 50-50 on where the jury were headed, and his defence was all over it and said, well, just look at the cool demeanour of him. Just look at what he's saying here. He's thanking them for the experience. Did these sound like the words of somebody who's guilty? It could sway a court in his favour, but in the scenario he's in, it won't, because there's the dick pic and he turned up. So he's screwed. But it would be a very good tactic, quite a clever tactic to use, like I said, in a situation that wasn't cut and dry. So it's a pretty clever. No one's really. I mean, there's been the odd one who was some of them that have. There was one guy, I believe, at was it Flagler Beach, who was like, "You're Chris Hansen? Saw you on Opie and Anthony or something." He was like, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you," and all that kind of stuff. You get a few of them oddballs.
I'm never ever do this ever again. Talk to someone's house. So
I appreciate that.
Nothing bad out of this.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for getting me stitched up for in prison for 2 years and registered sex offender.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Oh my god.
Oh, where's the exit?
Right there, straight ahead, over there.
Uh-oh.
Or the police department will explain everything to you right after. You can do that. Give me your phone.
Hey, better that.
Oh, he's gonna do that. You have nothing in your pockets, do you?
No, it's my keys.
Alright, very well.
Why am I nervous?
We'll explain everything in a minute.
Can you imagine if we had that camera when Lorne got busted? Oh my god. A car camera. I'm almost...
Face forwards, eyes open.
Smile!
Good.
Good.
Face the wall.
There you go.
Jesse, what's your last name?
Velez.
You got through everything?
Yeah.
I know this is upsetting, and trust me, I'm not mean. I'm not sitting here in judgment of you. I'm just trying to understand what happened
Yes, you bloody ass, sweetheart. Admit it.
today, and that's all. That's all we're trying to do. Okay. You read everything thoroughly?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you tell me why you think you're here? Why you think this whole thing happened?
It's such a great question, that. It's like such an open-ended question. Tell me about everything,
Because I was stupid enough to go on the app and chat with random people, and I met one of them, which unfortunately was underage. Nothing sexual was going to happen with any of them that I meet today, just hangouts or whatever. And unfortunately, I went to their house, which I shouldn't have.
Okay.
And I've never done that before. Usually I meet them at Starbucks just so I feel safe at the same time. But this time I did it.
Okay.
So, there we have it, guys. So, let me know any comments. Not the most fascinating of exchanges with... I might see if I can find the interview. I don't know whether the full interview is available online. If so, might be interesting to go over it. So yeah, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. Give me any comments and I'll speak to you soon.